Fuzzy Belvedere, we got to get into topic number 2. Now, again, this is where I'm going to throw the graphic up so you fine folks can take a look exactly what I'm talking about. And where we're going to get into the future of Xbox is games, and more games. Now, this graphic that I'm going to throw up on the screen right now, there it is. Okay. As you can see, this is what we know is happening for Xbox Game Pass through first party and marketing deals, right? Now, this graphic comes the way of us from the very talented Clobriel, who, of course, does these things for a regular basis, and he just puts them out there on the interwebs for us content creators to use. And obviously, he goes on to show his love for Xbox. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very powerful graphic because we're getting Avowed in a couple of weeks, which the more we see it, Fuzzy Belvedere, the more we realize that the extra time given to Obsidian really has paid off, especially in the third person mode. Those characters look so detailed. It is unbelievable. The character creator that you can do, how detailed you could make your character be your character, is astounding. We have confirmation that South of Midnight is April. We have more confirmation that Doom 15th, I said Doom 15th, May 15th is Doom the Dark Ages. The Outer Worlds, I think it's safe to assume, second half of the year, because obviously Avowed is first half of the year. We have already Ninja Gaiden Black 2 that's in Game Pass. That was a big get. Ninja Gaiden 4, a sequel to Ninja Gaiden 3, which was pretty good actually. And this is co-produced by Team Ninja as well as Platinum Games. It looks like a banger. Fable still slated for 2025, and I'm assuming that's probably going to be around maybe November. Now, Fuzzy, I'm going to remove the graphic here because we've seen enough of it. But where I want to draw our attention to, ladies and gentlemen, is to some of the other games that are going to be happening second half of year. This first half of the year is a triumph for gaming, right? But I think it's even more so a triumph, especially financially, for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate users, because every one of those games that you just saw on your screen are going to be dropping into Xbox Game Pass day and date. No questions, no funny business. That is what's happening. But Fuzzy, I want to kind of just take a few minutes to elaborate on second half. The second half of the year, we know that The Outer Worlds is going to be there. Second half of the year, we know that Fable is going to be there. But added to that list, ladies and gentlemen, is the rumored and pretty much confirmed Oblivion remake redone in Unreal Engine 5. And why that's even more exciting now is because we saw what Team Ninja did with Ninja Gaiden Black 2. Yeah. It looks amazing. It looks like a modern game. I love it to pieces. And that is what we can expect from Oblivion, one of my all-time favorite RPGs of the Xbox 360 era, hands down. But you also have now, and again, folks, we're getting Gears of War something. Whether that be E-Day, which I really believe that's the running rumor that we're getting E-Day this year. And you also have Call of Duty, which is rumored to be a sequel to Black Ops 2. And I don't know about you folks, but I'm getting freaking goosebumps just talking about it, because that is the running narrative. If you are an Xbox player and then you are an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, how are you not winning, Fuzzy Belvedere? That is the question, because when you say the future of Xbox is games, and more games, we have to go all the way back to about 2021, where Matt Booty was caught saying that we have so many games in the pipeline that we don't know what to do with them. And it turns out that 2022 was a really poor year, right? Mm-hmm. It was a real bad year for Xbox. Yeah, they had a couple of third-party deals in there. Some of their first-party stuff, it was okay, but they had a lot delayed. Now, 2023, great year. 2024, phenomenal year. 2025, probably the best year in first-party history. And that is saying something, considering that the brand and the platform is nearly 25 years old at this point. Next year makes 25 years, and this is by far, Fuzzy Belvedere, one of the best first-party lineups any platform has ever had, I think, in the last 30 years. And I don't think I'm exaggerating. This is a unbelievable year. Let's talk about it. Games, and, well, more games.
Like I said, the end of last year, it's like I don't think we're going to be ready for 2025. Like I remember saying, clear your backlog because we're going to get hit upside the head with a lot of games this year, and it's already started for the first half. Now on the second half, there's still some other games that some of them are like the partnered third party stuff. Others are first parties that we have a feeling because of recent activity of those studios, we could see a release date either the second half of this year or going early into next year. Like InXile is always on social media, and their game when they showed it off, Clockwork Revolution, looks like it's pretty much already polished at this point. So I would have to believe that one is probably not too far down the pipeline. We saw at the tail end of last year. Yep. Rare started, making posts, and we all know, Everwild went through its growth spurt and its awkward days where they didn't know exactly what it was, but with a report from Jez and even some of the feedback you see from the Rare team, we know that Everwild is probably in a much better state, which I kind of feel. I don't know if Fable winds up being at the June showcase or Everwild winds up being at the June showcase. But I have a feeling whichever one doesn't wind up at the June showcase will be at Gamescom, primarily because it's close to where those studios are. So I could see us even possibly getting Everwild snuck in there as well. It's in a much better place. They've, figured out the game loop and probably what the end game and all that content would be. So I don't have any doubt that's something that we'll probably see before this year is out. We also hear some rumors in the background that Contraband might even make an appearance, but without even looking to those games that, could make the appearance, we're pretty confident that Fable's going to be here. We've already heard rumors that State of Decay 3 got pushed to next year, which I was amazed that it would even be considered to be ready for 2025. But then again, they did a lot of support up to the end of life cycle for State of Decay 2. With that ending, I think it was in November. So the fact that one is probably close to ready and kind of gets pushed to 2026, they're starting to kind of pick and choose where these games land. And if you just look at what goes in the Game Pass day one, from the time of the Dev Direct to, let's say, the June showcase, there's something for everyone every single month. As far as whether it's a bigger AA game all the way up to a AAA game, there's something every month, third party and first party and partnered second party or at the new first party listings. When it comes to the publishing aspect, there's going to be something for everyone every single month. Like I think this week we get Sniper Elite 5, and I think we get Eternal Strands, I think, this week as well. And then it's off to Avowed, which I can't wait to get that one in hand. As far as an RPG from Obsidian, that's going to be something to definitely look forward to. But they're going to, somehow bookend this year with having Outer Worlds 2 in that same year. Sure, Avowed got pushed to this year, but to have Obsidian have two of their bigger RPGs land in the same year goes to show that how stacked things are. And we already know, based on when they were acquired, I think they said they wanted to do 6 games in 7 years or 7 games in 7 years. So even with them releasing 2 games the same year, we know that they will more than likely have something lined up, whether it's something smaller like a Grounded 2 or something more ambitious like Stormlands was a pitched game for like the Xbox One, or even a fan favorite, something returning into the Fallout universe potentially. So Xbox has more than just games. They have a roadmap and a blueprint to go along with it as far as what each one of their studios having multiple teams, each one of those teams having its own project, and even having teams within those teams for continued support. Like, I don't think Xbox gets enough credit for their continued support of some of their, I guess you could say some of them are games as a service, some of them are just continuations within that release. Like, I don't really consider State of Decay 2 live service, but like I said, they did their, was it 38 updates from launch up until like this past October or November. And you have things like Forza Horizon 5, which still gets, monthly updates. Each week is a new set of cars and events and things along those lines. You still have Forza Motorsport getting new cars and new events. And I think there's a new track in the waiting here soon as well. So you have that. You have the season updates for, well, everything Call of Duty, which that's its own monster in itself. But you still have season updates for things like Halo as well, and Fallout 76 are continuing to get updates, and some of those updates are related to the TV series and such. So yeah, they have more than just games, and they have a lot of them, and I don't think we have enough time for all of them. But the great thing is with Game Pass, even if you don't get to it the day it drops, it's still going to be there. You can get to it when you finish up one of the other gems that they dropped into that service. And I know a lot of people hate that, oh, I'd rather own my games and whatnot. People keep forgetting you can still own the games that are in Game Pass.
Yeah.
You just get that bit of a discount. Now you
Yep.
can either get that, was it 15% discount, I think, buying it day one, or you could do like I do and wait 6 months to a year where it's like the holiday sale and now you own it. And the main reason why I do that is because who knows, after 2028, when my stack subscription expires, do I continue it, or let's say I don't? I at least know that those games that I enjoyed, I still have in my library. And the way Xbox is working now, I'll be able to take that library forward, unlike some other platforms in some cases where you have to worry about, well, what is their backwards compatibility program. Although we do hear at least the Switch 2 will be backwards compatible to the Switch 1, which is a great step forward for Nintendo. But Xbox has been doing this for pretty much the past 2 generations, and to like a level that I don't think a lot of people appreciate, when you don't have remasters that are like games that were 3 years old or whatnot. Those games typically get an upgrade for free through smart delivery. And then when it comes to the games that are older than 5 years, most of them closer to 10 years, they get a complete overhaul as far as like in Unreal Engine, the latest, Unreal Engine 5, or they wind up having it where it's a complete from the ground up, redo, to the point where, or they wind up doing a sequel or prequel. But in any event, they wind up putting a lot more effort, or at least how I see it, a lot more effort in bringing us those stories to a new audience and such, where, some other platforms talk about, hey, you have to buy our remakes to, for us to make new games. Meanwhile, Xbox is making the new games, and on occasion they'll do the remasters or remakes as well. And by the way, last generation stuff, you get the free upgrades, through smart delivery and things along those lines. So it's an awesome time. But this second half of the year, I can't wait for the June showcase. So far, I'm not sure if I'm going to be there in person, but if I do, and I can't wait to see the excitement in the room when they announce what we have for the second half. And I have a pretty good idea it's going to be some special surprises mixed in as well.
Well, I mean, you know what? We can't forget, even though they're smaller games, 33 Immortals still has to release. Towerborn, which is shaping up to be something incredibly special. Like, if you are an old school cat like me who appreciates side-scrolling beat-em-ups with a lot of flair and a lot of depth, well, Towerborn is definitely going to be for you, because not only will it have those elements of like Castle Crashers and some of your more, you got to go all the way back, folks. Like, again, I'm old. Does anyone remember Knights of the Round in the arcade? That was a Dungeons and Dragons one from Capcom. I mean, there's something with, I wasn't sure if it was To the King or something with the King. Is another old school, RPG-ish side-scrolling beat 'em up. Great stuff from Capcom back in the days. these are again smaller games, but they're still releasing and they count, and they're going to be in Game Pass day and date. I mean, look, all I know is that Xbox gamers are eating super well. There's a plethora of stuff coming out that we already know, and I think that the June showcase. Now you got to remember, folks. I heard a couple of weeks ago, and I heard this from the same source that gave me the Ninja Gaiden, story, that this June is shaping up to be bigger than last June's show. Now, I was someone that was very lucky enough to not only be recognized by Microsoft, but I have my press pass still right here from that show. I was ass in seat, ladies and gentlemen, with many content creators that you know and love, and I'm still pinching myself. And that show was nothing short of a 12 out of 10. Now, this next June showcase, on top of what we already know that's happening, what we suspect is happening in second half, we could get hardware reveals, Fuzzy. Like, you might actually get what the handheld is going to look like, even in the prototype form, for what is expected to be a 2026 release. That also goes for what the next Xbox, this mythical PC-like box underneath your TV, except it's going to simply say an Xbox. And that could also be shown off.